Your baby's mind is growing even before they arrive. The more you talk and sing and play, the more their mind will thrive. You gotta talk with your baby, play with your baby, read to your baby, make out you're a lion. Talk with your baby, play with your baby, read to your baby. Your words will grow their mind.
This season, we are recording on Kaurna land at PodBooth studio each and every episode, and we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging.
Your words will grow their mind.
Hello and welcome to Words Grow Minds. We are a podcast dedicated to nurturing early childhood development. I'm Kate Ellis. I'm a mum to Sam and Charlie. My family are my great passion, but after that, my passion is trying to improve early childhood outcomes for Australian children.
And I'm Amelia Mulcahy. I'm a journalist and a mum to Grace and Ted. And recently, my kids rediscovered the recorder. I had hidden it under the car seat, and that has been brought back into our lives, which is great to hear because our guest in today's episode might make me rethink hiding the recorder. What do you reckon, Kate?
Well, I'm really excited about today's pod because I think we all know that like dancing and singing toddlers are cute, but what we might not know is that it's actually really important and that they are learning, and there's a whole range of things which we can be doing to support them during that. And so today, there are few more qualified than today's guest, Dr Anita Collins, to fill us in about the extraordinary benefits of music in early childhood.
Anita has a Bachelor of Music Performance, a Master's in Music Education and a PhD in Neuroscience and Music Education. She is an award-winning educator, author of The Music Advantage and a researcher in music education. And she's made it her mission to advocate for the endless benefits of music for our brains across a lifetime through advising governments and philanthropic organisations on music learning and brain development. And she's also the founder and director of Bigger, Better Brains, which we will dig into later.
Dr Anita Collins, welcome to the Words Grow Minds Parent Podcast. Thank you so much for being with us.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, well, I am too. I was just saying I had this conversation with Anita when we met a few months ago, and I just kept saying, stop, wait till we're recording.
This is useful.
We are recording now,
Yeah.
so let's get straight into it. Okay, I'm going to start with the big question. Music in early childhood. What does it do for a child?
Okay, it's an absolutely vital tool to create sensory integration for kids under 5. It's the tool that actually the brain functions around at the very beginning of life. So when we're holding our little babies right at the start of life, when we speak to them, they're hearing our voices as if they're instruments. That's how integrated music is to our brains and how they learn. It's so incredibly important. And from there, the music processing networks does everything. It teaches us how to speak. It teaches us how to move with intention. So those cute little babies that you're seeing in supermarkets who are dancing away to the absolutely hideous music that's in the background, that process is teaching them how to move with intention. So they're hearing the beat and they're going, okay, can I make my body move in time with that beat, which is why they always look so cute because they're always out of time, because it's taking a little while for it to get through their brain and then get down to their limbs and that they're moving. But it is an absolutely vital part of their sensory development and survival development in those first 5 years of life, which is why learning music and having it integrated into every single day is so important, because really we're just using the part of the brain that is set up to help young children to learn.
When you say integrating it into every day, not just Coles radio, as you referenced, but what do you like to see? What are some good examples of that?
I love to see parents singing to their children, but not just singing songs, singing instructions. So what happens is
my children are going to hate this when I get home. I'm going to sing the orders to them tonight.
Yeah, except you're going to love it because they're going to go, oh, right, now I remember everything I have to remember, and off they go. So you're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
At birth, every single human, our first language is song.
Really?
So we're hearing song, not speech, not this sort of very complex thing we're doing now. We hear song. So as soon as you sing instructions, you're actually going to their first language, even before they're verbal. So if you're singing instructions or putting melody into your voice, we do it all the time. When we meet a new baby, we do the same things with babies and puppies. When we see them, we go, oh my goodness, you are so cute. Look at you, that beautiful smile. That's not how we talk normally, but we infuse our voice with melody and rhythm because we know babies and puppies will respond to that. And the reason is their first language is song, and all we're doing is getting into that song part. So singing instructions, having more emotion and more melody in our voice is great. Using rhythm's really important. If a child is starting to lose it, which they do regularly, actually keeping a rhythm of some description, whether we do it on babies, we do it on their backs. We can do it on a table. We can just keep something that's a beat that keeps going, and suddenly all their self-regulation starts to kick in and they just calm down, and that just keeping rhythm. So a lot of the things we do naturally are musically based, rhythm, singing, all of those things. We use them all the time, and they're actually there because that's what baby is responding to, and toddler and preschool child is responding to as well. So infusing it and understanding that music is everywhere and we can use it as a tool for parenting.
I just want to really come back to and emphasise that little nugget there about meltdowns and using rhythm can help. Is it a distraction or is it a regulation thing?
It feels like a distraction what it is it distracts, and then regulation occurs after that. It's kind of like with a toddler when they're not doing the right thing and you go, look over there at that, and they go, whoop, off they go. And it takes them away from that thing that they're fixated on at the time. So when they're having a meltdown, they're fixated on a meltdown, perfectly okay. But what we're doing is distracting them. And there is something really important, particularly about rhythm. So when we keep a beat of any description, but very much when it's on the body, it tells the body to calm down, and you've got a heightened heart rate, so it brings that down. You've got a heightened breath rate, and it brings that down as well. And it does it extremely quickly. And so that's why it's so beneficial, and often why we turn to it when we don't know what else to do. And that's why it works, is because our brains, our little ones, 0 to 5s, are musically just wired at the start of life because it's there to help the brain grow to get to that next stage of development, which are things like reading and writing and making friends and all that sort of other stuff. We've got to get through this sensory integration first. And any teacher who looks at a young one knows which one are sort of ready for school kind of thing, or are on the right path because their sensory integration is good. When they're not, they know they're going to have behavioural issues. Their literacy may be delayed. They may have struggle making and keeping friends. All of those things are there. So a teacher can spot it. And a lot of the time it's around how their senses are taking in information and making meaning from them. And the basis of that, while it doesn't feel connected but is in the brain, is music.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
So can we just talk a bit more about those benefits? So you've talked about the benefits of sensory development, the benefits around regulation. Can you just talk about the benefits around oral language development, or what does a child having a sense of, I know the answer to this question because Anita told me previously, but I think it's fascinating. A child developing their own sense of rhythm, what does that indicate for us?
Okay, there's a lot of things in there.
I know, I'm sorry. There's so much to talk about.
What it is, so basically what happens is, if we think about child development, we have to go through stages in order to survive. And it's things like being able to reach out and grab something and bring it to us. So getting the bottle, still remember with my little girl who's now 15, as soon as she could hold her own bottle, oh my God, my life changed. It was like, wow. I've been released. But that was one of the steps in when the children go through them all the time and it leads towards survival. And the brain is built for survival first. It has to go, okay, I have to be able to eat. I have to be able to move out of danger. I have to be able to hear what's coming, all of that sort of stuff. And therefore, we have to take in lots of information through our senses. So the brain has to do a lot of that first before it can get onto any of this higher cognitive learning, which we do through school and to become these amazing humans we are. One of the most interesting things and the best piece of research I've found in everything I've looked at is they've found that children between the age of 3 and 4 who could keep a steady beat, and that literally looks like who could clap their hands together and keep steady in that beat for more than 8 beats. If they were able to do that, they could pretty well predict that these children at the age of 5 and onwards would have a typical learning journey when it comes to reading. And you think, well, why on earth would those two things be connected? And the answer is that by clapping together and keeping a clap going and being able to do something else actually means it's automated by that time, means that our eyes have to coordinate, our body has to coordinate, we have to be regulated within ourselves, we have to be hearing for any changes that might be happening in the beat because they change a little bit as you go through. That indicates sensory integration. Everything's working and talking to each other, which means the brain is now ready because it's gone past first phase of survival. I'm okay, I can reach for things, I can move out of the way, I can hear for what's happening. Now I can jump onto that next big step of you putting all these shapes and letters and words and things in front of me because I know I can survive. So by clapping, I know they don't seem connected, but I always go back to inside the brain, they're connected. By clapping and showing that you can keep that going, it means you're ready for the next cognitive development stage. The other way around is if they're between 3 and 4 and they can't do that, they're not ready. I love this research because we've got between 4 and 5 to go, all right, let's do lots of beat keeping, lots of moving, lots of music education to speed up that sensory integration to get them as school ready as we can by the age of 5.
What is some
amazing?
It is amazing.
Are you about to start clapping school with Ted?
You won't believe the program will begin next week. I feel like we should be shouting this from the rooftops though. Do you think, Anita, enough people know this?
No, not yet. I think it takes a long time for research to make it into the real world. And that's why for me, I'm so passionate about it because it's like I found this stuff sort of by accident and went, everyone needs to know. So much of my work now is to get it into the hands of people who can change systems, to parents as well, particularly, just to know that clapping in the car, clapping together, clapping a rhythm, a pattern, and then getting your child to copy it, and then clapping another one and getting them to copy it. All of that is activities that make sensory integration easier and faster. And the sooner you get through that stage, the sooner they can be ready for that next challenge that they're going to meet when they go to school.
Can I just explore what Ted's clapping school might look like? Because how should we be supporting this? Should we be signing up all of our toddlers to, formal music education?
Yep.
Or is it about singing and dancing in the home? Like, what is your recommended approach for parents?
Or is it just as simple as having the radio going? Like, what do you recommend?
Yeah. Okay. So it's not an either or with should we be signing them up or should we be doing stuff at home? It has to be both. The going to your 1 hour a week kinder music or something else, there's some amazing programs all around Australia, does two things. A, it gets your own child involved in doing these activities, but it's also it's there for the parents as well. It's teaching you the things you can do at home. So you don't have to come up with an idea. You just sing the song that you did at kinder music or an early childhood music program. You have, when they start tapping on the table, you go, let's tap together. When they start clapping along to a song, you start clapping along with them, or you start clapping and get them to copy you. It's just kind of like a masterclass for parents to go, what is this music thing? What would I do with my child? And you get to watch the educator work, the children get to experience it, and then you just repeat it throughout the week. I think it's noticing those spontaneous things, when they do start clapping, when they do start speaking in a certain rhythm, when you do sing something to them or say something to them in a way. My daughter, when she was 4, used to be getting ready for childcare, and it used to drive me nuts that she had to do her teeth, get her shoes on, and do her hair. And I used to say, teeth, shoes, hair, off you go. And she'd brush her teeth and she'd come back and her hair's out like this and she's no shoes on, and go, what about the rest? And she'd go, what? I forgot. So I started to sing to her, teeth, shoes and hair, teeth, shoes and hair. I've got to do my teeth, shoes and hair. And then she'd be off. So it got really easy. So I went, teeth, she went, oh, I'm off. And I'd hear her going, teeth, shoes, shoes. And then she'd go and get shoes. So it was like a memory process as well. But my poor little one was born in the middle of my study. So she was my little experiment. But I now understand why that works, because we're accessing that song, but I'm just doing something to help me along with the day to get her ready for childcare. And now whenever she's 15 now, but we still sing things. If she can't remember them, I'll sing them back to her and she goes, yep, I'm done. I'm off. I've got to do, what am I doing? So there's lots of different things we can do.
When you were singing Teeth, Shoes and Hair, which isn't a banger of a song, but you made it sound beautiful.
No, that's subjective, yes.
Like you can sing. You've got a lovely singing voice. And I just want to speak on behalf of any parents out there, I don't know who they might be, who don't have beautiful singing voices. Because what we've actually found with our Words Grow Minds program, the calls to action, talk, read, sing and play, sing is actually an area where parents are really lacking confidence. And so what's your advice for parents that don't have backgrounds in music education and may not have beautiful singing voices? Although I'm assured that everyone can learn to sing, but I have not yet seen the evidence of that personally. But what's your advice to those parents?
I think there's so much that is not right about our narrative around singing. I can sing in tune, but I'm a musically trained person, but I'm an instrumentalist. I'm not a singer as I see it. So I feel a bit the same as you. It's like when I sing, it's like I know it's in tune, but I don't think it sounds great. What I learned from all the researchers I went to visit, because I did ask this question, is that it does not matter. You are your baby and your child's favourite rock star. And it's really, really important for us to get out of our own heads that I am not Taylor Swift, but that's okay because to my child I'm Taylor Swift and that's perfectly fine. So I think it's just finding our singing voice again. So for some of us, it's been 10, 20, 30 years since we've sung. And then the other part is that a lot of parents have what I would call an art scar, which is they were in choir in the year 4 and they were told by the teacher not correctly to stand up the front, open their mouth, but do not sing because you haven't got a good voice. And that carries, that's a scar.
It's like Anita's read my file.
We need some one-on-one counselling later on.
The goldfish in the choir. You can pretend you're singing, please just don't make any noise. But...
You can imagine which child I was, Kate.
Yeah. But I think it's still very important to find that voice again. And honestly, the best way to start is by humming and just like humming your favourite tune. If you love the new Lewis Capaldi song that's out, just hum it and re-find what that sounds like. And I think that's a really important thing. And then when you feel confident to sing, I've had so many fathers come up to me after hearing me speak and they're so worried and they've said, have I damaged my child for life because I've never sung to them? And the answer is no, of course not. But even more for men, they'll say, I will sing, but I'll only sing at the 3 a.m. feed because no one else can hear me. And I think we have a lot of work to do around making singing okay and making use of our voice okay and not having to be an opera singer or Taylor Swift or anybody else. I would love parents to go away with one thing. You are your child's favourite rock star. Just remember that.
It's funny, just the person you described just then, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, is my husband. Not musically inclined in any way, does not sing, does not know the words of songs. I love music, so I'm the one who's got it playing in our house. He does not. Does it matter how we bring it in? Is it okay if it's just like music playing in the background? What are the other ways? If maybe you're just trying to build up your singing ability, what are the other ways that you can bring this in to the house? Like, can you just have a Spotify playlist going that you think your kids might like? Does it have to be the Wiggles? Can it be your music? What's your take there?
There's a whole bunch in there. First of all, having music on in the background all the time is actually not the best thing in the world. Ooh. Because children can't, as between 0 and 5, they're trying to hear all the different sounds. They hear all sound as like a big bubble and they can't adjust it. And so if there's music going in the background and then someone's talking over here and then there's another television going on over here and stuff, that's too much for them. They need to be able to be directed towards the sounds that they're hearing. In saying that, I think making your own playlists. We've all got them. The songs that are our bangers. When we have to get in the car and it's like, I just have to get some energy out, we'll put on a song, often one that fits our vocal range, and we can just blurt out. We're very happy to. Make a playlist of those. It's not that the music's on at the background, the child is hearing it. They actually won't be interacting it. It's when you sing along and look at them and go, oh, I love singing We Are the Champions or something like that. That's when they engage with the music. So it can't just be in the background. It needs to be you as the human engaging with it somehow, even if it is. And my husband is not musically inclined either and has potentially the worst voice ever, but he makes it even worse because it makes my daughter laugh like crazy. And that's again engaging with music. You don't have to be perfect. And I think that's the biggest thing. We don't have to be perfect about it. We just have to sing.
What do you find the impacts on parents are? Do you find it helps them loosen up, or like it can be a good circuit breaker for them too? What are the benefits for parents?
Yeah. So as soon as we sing, and we will know this if we've ever tried to sing when you are in grief or very sad and suddenly everything locks up and you can't sing. So I know that sounds a strange way to do it, but when you do sing and you're relaxed, everything in our body relaxes. A huge amount of serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine goes through our body, and it goes through incredibly quickly. It's why pub choir works so well, because you put a beer in someone's hand and then you say sing and they go, okay, that's fine. And they're comfortable. So I think it really helps bring down our heart rate, our body temperature, our cortisol levels and stress levels. It slows everything down because song is usually slower than speech. So there's something about slowing down ourselves, particularly if we're in a heightened state with parenting, which is hard work. Sometimes when we sing, it can do that as well. So if things are really, you can feel it in a household, things heighten and heighten. It's like, yep, it's about to go over the edge. Sometimes singing or putting on some music or something will just calm everything down enough to get back to closer to baseline to restart again. So I think it's a very important and a tool we're not using enough because we're self-conscious. And I think we need to try and stop being self-conscious and just use it as a therapy as singing.
Can we talk about music more broadly? We've talked about singing and humming. What about instruments, whether they're banging together some pots and pans or whether it's a formal instrument? At what age should we be bringing in instruments, and are they helpful?
And do I keep the recorder?
Yes. Okay. The recorder is a separate conversation. So yes, instruments are really important because singing and making rhythms with our body is all in our body. As soon as you then go outside the body and go, I have to control these two things to bang them together, or I have to control, they might be going on to violin at a very young age. If I have to do one thing with one hand and one thing with the other hand, how do I do that? Like, that's the next level of complexity. That's the next game level that we need students to get up to. And again, what it does is pushes the brain, because it's the most challenging thing the brain does. To coordinate and play a musical instrument in time is harder than anything else that they've found, because you have to coordinate everything at once and then potentially do it in a group of people. So it's really important. And as you said, pots and pans on the kitchen floor, when you can handle it, is a musical instrument for a child, because it's exploring the different sounds that can be made by different things.
I can almost hear the parents across Australia cursing us as they, I have to let them bang the pots and pans.
That's why sending them outside on the trampoline with a musical instrument's a great idea, as long as they're not jumping up and down.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like instrumentally are instruments where you push a button and a sound comes out. That's not any level of coordination, exploration. It doesn't lead to music learning. It's just like pushing a computer, hitting play. So they need to, be dexterous. They need to hold on to two sticks or two bells or something like that and try and make a sound. And then they need to, as we go up in ages, get more complex. This is where the recorder kicks in. The recorder has a terrible reputation, and it should be something that we get back into schools. A, because it's cheap. B, because when it's taught well, it actually teaches a huge amount of discipline, teamwork, and making sure that they are learning something in sequence, which is exactly what we do when we're reading as well. So it's a really important instrument that I think has gone out, because unfortunately kids are sent home and they just go, it's bedtime, let's play the recorder. And that's not working. It's not good for anybody. So I think part of it is treating it like an instrument, not a toy or a plaything, which is 5 minutes before dinner, let's do your recorder practice. And it gets them into that habit forming that you can say 5 minutes before dinner, let's do your spelling, or 5 minutes before dinner, let's open up your reading book. And it's actually a really good thing for habit building as well.
We've covered off some really fascinating, you promised this to me, Kate.
I promised.
You did.
She's delivered.
Some really fascinating, just gold nuggets in here for parents, Anita. We're loving this chat so far. We are going to take a quick break though. And when we come back, we're going to get some of your favourite ways, easy, quick ways that parents can integrate music into their everyday lives, because we've heard all about the benefits just now. And we're also going to come back and talk about bigger, better brains. So we'll do that shortly.
Your baby's mind is growing even before they arrive. The more you talk and sing and play, the more their mind will thrive. Gotta talk with your baby, play with your baby, read to your baby, make out you're a lion. Talk with your baby, play with your baby, read to your baby. Your words will grow their mind. Every time you interact with your child, you're helping grow their mind. For more information, visit wordsgrowminds.org.au.
Welcome back. We're delighted to have this conversation with Anita, who I wanted to just ask, so many parents don't know the things that you've just outlined. How do you think we go about increasing awareness amongst the Australian public about the importance and the benefits of music and why we should all be making time for it in our days?
I think there's so many things already going on, and I'm really pleased in Australia. When I go and travel overseas, we're ahead of the curve a long way. And it's part of the narrative around the fact that music is important. And a lot of the time when I talk to parents, they go, it's important because, and then they give me an answer. And it's not just, oh, it's fun. It's more about, I know that it leads to cognitive development. I know it's going to help them with their reading, something like that. I don't think every preschool and every childcare centre and even every community nurse really knows enough yet. So I think working in that space to give them like the top things of it's important because it helps with their sensory integration. It helps to self-regulation. It helps with all the things we're looking for in the first 5 years of life. So I think podcasts like yours, and I really, really pleased when I met you to see that Sing was in your list. And it's like, oh, so exciting. It's there. Now let's talk a lot about it, because I think it's the least understood and it has the most baggage attached to it. So I think those are one of the things that I'd like to see more of, is it's okay to walk down the street and hear a mother and son singing together. That should be okay to have, rather than look around going, what are they doing? And that's a real cultural shift in Australia, where singing really isn't seen as something that is okay to do unless you are allowed or talented. So I think it's changing that narrative.
We need to do our best, Maria from Sound of Music, I think. Anita, let's make it easy for parents now. What are your top, say, 5 or list off some things that you love to see happening or kids doing in the home?
I think let's start not just in the home but in the car ride, wherever. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of parents who say to me, I am so sick. If I have to listen to the Wiggles one more time, I'm going to go crazy. What we actually need is to give them a variety of music, not just the music that we think is for kids. They need to hear your favourite song. They need to hear a different piece of music that might be in a movie. They need to hear lots of different things. So having a playlist of maybe 5 songs for 1 week, it's like, on which day would you like to listen to this particular song in our 20 minutes to daycare or childcare or something like that. I think it's really important to have a variety. They need a musical diet that has variety in it. And the second part of that is I would love to see parents feeling comfortable to sing along with their children, rather than having the music on and thinking, well, that tick, music's done. It's about the active involvement with the music, singing with them, clapping with them, making sounds with them, just sitting for a second as they explore and going, oh, look at this little sound we can make on a pot. And what if we do it with something that's metal? And what if we do it with something that's wooden? What's the different song? Because you'll see this like, oh, wow, this whole world of sound. And that's a very important thing to do. So I think being more, as much as we can, more actively involved in the musical life of our children.
Amazing. Anita, you have had a prolific career through neuromusical education. Can you talk to us about what you're working on? And specifically, I love the title of this, Bigger, Better Brains. What is it? What do we need to know?
Okay, Bigger, Better Brains was the name of my PhD. And it was just because I was writing, every time I was reading things and I was going, musicians' brains are bigger, musicians' brains are better. And I went, let's just call that for my PhD. And it turned into this wonderful work that I now do, mostly with music educators, music systems and schools, to help them understand the research and then figure out how they're going to optimize it in their schools. But I am doing, and particularly the last 18 months, so much more work with early childhood, both in America, the UK and here, because it is the prime time that we need to make sure that music's included. And it's included in a way that is active and effective rather than just being music in the background. So just helping Australia understand that it's how important it is, and then let's work with our parents and our educators to make sure it's part of every child's day.
Is there, though, we all had that friend growing up at school who was amazing at piano and, we just didn't do that. Are some people just musically minded and others aren't? Or is that just a whole other musical tier that I've just talked about?
No, but there's predispositions, but we have predispositions for all sorts of things. So some people are just musically are predisposed. What it actually is technically, their auditory processing is a lot higher and their sensory integration happened a lot earlier. So it's not that they're talented on a musical instrument, it's just easy. And something that's easy, we tend to stick with a little bit more. So yes, there are, and then there are other people who are geniuses and amazing, but we have that in every field. What gets me about this is music learning is vital for every human's development. It doesn't matter that you get to be incredible and on stage, or you stick at an instrument for 3 or 4 years and you go, I didn't love it, but gee, I learned a lot about discipline, resilience, persistence, all of that sort of stuff through the process. Because the wonderful thing is, after that ends and they put that instrument down, their brain is changed for life. We now know that their brain is altered and enhanced for the rest of their lives. And that continues through, even to old age. Learning a musical instrument is one of the most powerful neuroprotective behaviours we know of. So even it'll pay you back when you're 70 and 80 and your brain's still going great guns because you learnt piano for 3 or 4 years before you were 10.
It's amazing, again, how much we have taken from this conversation. But even just reflecting on this and the things that you've been saying, like how singing songs can help you remember things, that is entirely how I learnt my times tables at school, from the songs that they do.
What colours are in the rainbow.
Yes, yeah. And I still think about that. I do, actually. I think this is a good place to wrap up, though, because we've taken so much from this conversation, but the one thing that we ask every guest that comes on our podcast, Anita, is if you could tell parents one thing with all that you know in your line of work and your research, what's the one thing you wish parents knew?
If I think about what I wish I knew, is that there is a lot of noise out there about parenting. And in many cases, we do things instinctively that are the right things to do. And when it comes to that music and patting a baby's back and singing to them at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's instinctive. And I think all I would want parents to know is, A, you're amazing and it's a hard road. And B, when the instinct strikes you, just trust yourself and sing even if you think your voice isn't great, because that's so important. And your baby and your toddler and your preschooler will remember it. They won't remember it in their head, but their body will remember. And that's what we need to be sure of, that what we're giving them is something that will stay with them for life.
You just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
That is really beautiful advice, and it's been such a fascinating conversation. Dr Anita Collins, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Anita. Nothing but a joy to have you on and just really uncover some easy ways and fun ways. We've got to remember that it's fun to have with our kids and help their brains grow. So we're really grateful for your time today.
Great. Thank you.
Wow, some really good gems in that conversation with Dr Anita Collins just now. You told me this would be a good one, and it really was.
I've been so excited about this because, as I said, it is cute. Singing and dancing toddlers are cute. But I don't think we really have any real awareness of how important it is. Like that fact around holding a rhythm for 8 claps, when you're 3 to 4, means you're going to be ready to learn to read, I think is fascinating.
No one would realise that.
And people should, because the flip side of that is if your child is 4 and they can't do it, you've got a year to work with them before they get to school. And that's what this pod is really all about, is about trying to do what we can in early childhood so that when our children get to school, they're ready. And I just thought, fascinating. And, we've now all got a license to sing to our children as much as we like.
You are your child's favourite rock star.
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to remind my children of that when they say, Mummy, please stop. It doesn't sound good.
Nice.
I'm going to say, Dr. Anita told me to sing to you.
So it's all okay. I think the fact that the one thing I'm taking away from this is that music helps with sensory integration. You know how, especially as a mum, you have these, it's 5 o'clock, you're cooking dinner, it's on the stove, you've got a toddler clinging to your leg, the TV's on, and then my daughter might be like, hey, Google, play, K-pop Demon Hunters or just something. And sometimes you associate sound with sensory overload, but the fact that it can actually be used really well to go the other way, if intentional with it, is just something that blew my mind. And also, I think a lot of us are doing some of this inadvertently anyway.
That was my other point. It doesn't have to be intentional. Like nobody taught us to gently pat our baby's back when they're upset. Nobody taught us. I'm sure we've all done the singing or humming, trying to get a child to sleep. Like nobody taught us that, but we kind of see that it works and it comes naturally. So it's intentional, but it's also recognising that naturally our babies do respond really well to music, and we should all be trying to do more of it.
Really validating. I think a lot of that. Bad singers, welcome. We will get some great resources from Dr. Anita Collins and make sure we put that in the show notes. I know she's got a great little info sheet that she's going to give us as well. So if you did like what you heard in that conversation, we will put a little more info if you'd like to follow up on that and find out some more. But that does bring us to the end of today's episode. A big thank you once again to Dr. Anita Collins. And we'll see you next time for more Words Grow Minds.
Thanks for listening to the Words Grow Minds Parent Podcast. We love hearing from you, so please subscribe, review and comment on the podcast. And for plenty of ideas to support your child's development, go to wordsgrowminds.org.au and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Your words will grow their mind.